Hey folks, Rick Dollar here with My Appalachian Home. Each week we're going to journey into the heart of Appalachia, its stories, its music, and its people. I'm going to share with you the rich tapestry of life in this one-of-a-kind region that I call home. So settle in and discover the spirit of Appalachia, one story at a time. This week our guest is William Monroe II, the grandson of the one and only Bill Monroe. Very good to meet you. And you're come from a family of musical royalty. And of course, I know you've heard all this stuff 1,000 times, but it's an honor to get you to sit down with us and talk to us about what your life's been like being the grandson of Bill Monroe.
Well, it was been pretty awesome. We traveled a lot together, did a lot of stuff with my dad and my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of shows, and been all over the United States, out of the country. We've always had a good time. We never had a cross word. Me and my granddad always got along great. We were very similar, though. Our personalities were similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably a little more of a talker than he was. But yeah, he was a great guy. I was at my granddad's birthday party and several years ago, and he had it at his farm, which was cool. He had like the little stage set up on the front porch. Hoyt Axton's mom, May Axton, who wrote Heartbreak Hotel for Elvis,
Right.
she wanted to come and talk to me, and she goes, "I just think you're fabulous. I'm gonna tell you something I told Elvis. You're gonna be a big star one day." I said, "Well, that would be great." Hasn't happened that way, but she said, your grandfather told me that he loved you because you're his grandson and you're his best friend."
Yeah. And that's sort of the relationship I think that a lot of guys have with their grandfather.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But it's with you it was not just, hey, let's go out front and throw baseball. It was, hey, let's get in the vehicle and go to the Grand Ole Opry and go on the road for a month or something like that. Just a totally different lifestyle. How did that shape the person that you are now?
It was such a great time back then traveling. It's almost kind of like a fantasy. You get on the tour bus, and you have your own bunk, and the bus driver wakes you up and says, "Hey, we're in Iowa." It's just, every time you wake up, you're in a different place. But we always had a great time. Granddaddy would always sit on the front of the bus. The rest of the band would go to sleep, and I would sit on the front of the bus with him and the bus driver. We just watch the road kind of unwind in front of us. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it's like. How old were you when you first went on the Grand Ole Opry with your grandfather?
Oh, I was little. I got a picture of me on top of Daddy's bass at the Opry. And I was like a baby. So
Oh,
I
wow.
went the first time when I was really, really, really little. Yeah, they always tried to get me involved with all the stuff,
Hmm.
music and where they were going, what they were doing. I sang Blue Moon of Kentucky on the Porter Wagner show when I was 2, I think. I didn't know the whole song, but I sang part of it.
You knew enough though, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when did you first realize that your grandfather was who he was and what he was doing for a living? And is there a point in your life where it just sunk in to say, my grandfather is Bill Monroe?
Probably when I
You
was in
know?
college, really. I mean, because I guess I thought everybody's granddad and dad traveled by bus and we played shows. Um, it's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in college and I was in a little garage rock and roll band. We worked on a couple of Granddaddy songs, kind of jazzed them up. Yeah, that's when I really started thinking about, it's that our situation was quite a bit different than a lot of people's. You know,
Yeah. It wasn't like, going to play Little League or something,
you
you
know.
know.
But it was cool where I went to high school at Hendersonville. I mean, I was friends with so many different people, like Hawkshaw Hawkins' son. I went to school with him. Tina Jones, which is I think it's George Jones's adopted daughter, but I went to school with her. Me and John Carter Cash are big buddies. He's like 2 years younger than me, but he went to Hendersonville too. We've been friends for years. But there's so many stars lived in Hendersonville. They don't do that much anymore. But back
Hmm.
when I was in high school, it was just jam packed. Pretty much, if you were in country music, you had a house in Hendersonville. Um, you know,
Yeah. It's just, like I said, it's just a different lifestyle. But What's your earliest memory of all that? Is it you remember, just being a little kid on the Opry and
Yeah,
trying to figure out why am I here, or did it really matter?
I guess probably my first memory about music stuff. I guess I've got a picture somewhere. Daddy had taken me to a studio. I think it was a studio that Granddaddy had set up in his house or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
was holding the mic. Granddaddy was playing mandolin. He was sitting in a chair. Daddy made a picture of me, and I was little, and I was just holding this little mic out where he was going through some mandolin runs or writing a song or something. But I remember that because I wasn't really comfortable holding the mic and stuff. Um, but I was
But
probably,
when your papa says do that, that's what you do, right?
oh yeah, I was like, yeah,
Same thing I did. Yeah, I know what you
oh
mean.
yeah, get up there and hold the mic.
That's it. It was the weirdest thing. If it hadn't been for the fiddle, um, I may not even be here. And I know that sounds strange,
Right.
but my grandfather, they lived in Bristol, and my grandfather would go downtown every Friday night with his black derby hat and his black suit and his fiddle. And sometimes, he'd play it walking down the street. So one night he was walking down Shelby Street playing this fiddle, and he looked over on the front porch of his house, and this lady was sitting in the porch swing, and he tipped his hat to her. I
Right.
guess that's what you did back then.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, "Hey, what's up?" It's a whole different ballgame. So Papa goes downtown, he plays his fiddle. On his way back, he comes by that same house, and my grandmother is leaned over the fence. If you can imagine this, leaned over a picket fence, waiting on him to come back.
That's pretty cool.
And that's the rest is history. I don't know. That's just one of those poignant stories that my dad told me before he passed away. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Uh,
Yeah, that is cool.
one thing in somebody's life, like music or an instrument or whatever. What if there had never been a mandolin? Did you ever think about that in your
Well,
life?
I tell what I've thought about. Maybe my perception is skewed, but if it really wasn't for Bill Monroe, my grandfather, I don't know that the mandolin would even be used that much in music. I mean, every bluegrass picker wanted to play mandolin because of Bill Monroe. That's
Sure, exactly.
and if it wasn't because of Bill Monroe, it's because of somebody that my granddad influenced to play mandolin. They were copying the next guy. But
Mm-hmm.
I've got a cool picture somewhere too of Chris Thiele and Granddaddy at the backstage of the Opry.
Wow. How old was Chris though, man? He had to be like,
He was a pretty young guy, but he'd already started playing.
yeah.
But yeah, Chris is just phenomenal
Oh
player.
my gosh.
Phenomenal
He's
player.
scary, man. That
Yeah.
cat is just he's walking to the beat of a different drummer, man. He's like that's what reminds me of him and your grandfather. I think the similarities are kind of eerie because Chris just has what he has in his head, man. He knows what he's going to do. It's like it's not a rehearsed thing at all. He may be
Um,
rehearsing 14 hours a day for all I know, but I don't think so. I think
I
it's
don't think
just a natural thing.
I don't think he does either. He's got fantastic improvisational skills, and he's just
Mm-hmm.
tremendous player. And he's a great singer too.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
I can't remember the guy's name. I'm actually friends with him too. But it's they did this guy from New York plays guitar. They did like the old Monroe brothers were basically just Uncle Charlie playing guitar and singing lead, and Granddaddy singing tenor, playing mandolin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is pretty much a two-man band, well, three-man band. At some point, I guess they had a bass player
Mm-hmm.
or hired person to play bass. But basically, just two people. So Chris did that with I can't think of the guy's name, but they did that a couple years ago, which is really
Yeah, they
cool.
did that. They did a run. They did a run through New York City. I think they were on like oh my gosh, I think they were on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Yeah,
Uh,
they did the NPC, whatever that they did that.
mm-hmm.
I think they even cut a record together doing that whole same thing, like the old Tommy stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was weird to see, the way things have shaped up the past few years to me. I've always loved bluegrass and country music. That's just always been my life.
right.
But guys like that have just set a fire to people. I mean, look at Billy. You know, we talked about this. Look at Billy Strings, and you know, his whole entire life was up north in Michigan, and who would have known that he would have come through and just he's dragging all these young listeners to him. I mean,
Oh,
he's kind of
absolutely.
like the Pied Piper. It's ridiculous, you know?
I think what Billy does is really cool. Is me and Billy talked about it. You know, I love bluegrass and I love country music, but I've also played in hard rock bands and heavy metal bands.
Sure.
And, and Billy will do a song. He'll do like Iron Man by Ozzy. Then he'll kick into a bluegrass song. You know, and it's just
That's what I'm saying.
and people love going and hearing the various assortment of music. But you're right. He's exposing a young crowd to bluegrass stuff that they would have never been exposed to.
Like I said, I mean, you know, I told you this. I never buy tickets to a show because I sometimes I don't have to. But I mean, he did 2 nights at Savannah down here, and 35,000 people a night sold out. So 70,000 people in 2 nights. Now you just think about those numbers. Yeah, and it was a huge melting pot of people, old people, young people. I mean, when I say young people, I'm talking about 10, 12-year-old kids that I looked on the floor and they didn't quit dancing the whole night.
You know, so that's great, man.
Yeah.
Really,
And then the
really is.
old guy standing next to him just having a ball.
I saw where Billy cut. I don't know if he's cut or not, but he was doing "Blue Virginia Blue" by Larry Sparks in one of his shows, which is a great
Wow.
song. And those people would have never heard that song ever if it wasn't for Billy, probably. You know,
Exactly. And I mean, you know, Larry Sparks has got his own style. He's got that bluesy kind of thing going. I mean, years ago, I haven't interviewed him in a while, but Larry was just one of these guys that every question that I asked him, I made sure that I was like a sponge. And whatever he said to do, I took it as gospel truth, man. And it's still working for him. You know, he's still
well,
selling these places out.
Larry's a great guy. I was talking to him one day after a show or one night after a show, and said I really like to cut "Blue Virginia Blue," and he's well, you better do it for your dad does.
It's ridiculous, ain't it, man? I'll tell you. Music, what is your and this is something I'm sure a lot of people want to know. What's your opinion of what music is what's happening to bluegrass and country music right now?
Well, it's a lot of country. I won't say a lot of it, but some of it is real progressive. It's almost like rock and roll. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the Eagles came out today. They would have been um, a country band instead of a rock band.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. I mean, because it's the way they structured their stuff, and um,
Exactly.
which is cool. You know, it's like Granddaddy said, time keeps moving on, and you got to keep pushing the music forward. If everything was static and it stayed the same, you would lose your audience. They'd move on to something else. You know,
Yeah.
people's attention spans now is so short from having, you know, they got iPhones and iPads and TVs, and they're trying to do five things at once.
Yeah.
If you don't keep things fresh and interesting, they're just not going to pay attention.
No, that is so true. I mean, there's a lot of people in this industry that work hard every day to try to do their job and make sure that these artists get known and get seen and things like that, you know, especially PR people, record labels, whatever, management. But it's so that would be such a hard job right now. I mean, I wouldn't want that job for anything.
No, it would be tough, and there's a big blur between the styles of music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Chris Daly was talking one time about you really could take any song and transform it into any genre of music that you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I could play a blues song, I could turn that into a rock and roll song, I could turn it into a bluegrass song. You know, it's just and people are
Exactly.
doing it. You know, they're kind of blurring stuff together. You know, excuse me. One thing that makes Billy so interesting, I think, like we were talking about, is he does put a lot of different kinds of stuff in his concerts, and that really
Mm-hmm.
really drives the audience to want to come see him.
Yeah, and that's true. And I mean, everybody there can be associated with that music in some way, shape, or form. And
Oh, absolutely.
when they leave those shows, that's why they're all everybody I saw had a huge smile on their face. And if there was somebody that was upset at all, it was because the 3.5 hours that he played by himself, was over.
Yeah.
You know, I saw guys in the parking lot going, wow, I wish he was playing another night, because
Yeah.
it was, you don't repeat, he didn't repeat any songs. It was all, I mean, he was pulling some stuff, man, that I was like, I couldn't believe these guys that were sitting in front of me. They were
Yeah.
getting ready to leave.
I tell you
And
what
there
Billy
was
does.
a, well, they lined up, all got around a microphone, and they did Richard Petty off his new record, a cappella.
No, that's cool.
Dude,
Um,
guy was getting ready to leave. I grabbed him by the arm. I didn't even know him. I was like, dude, please don't go. Just wait. Just 3 more minutes. He sat down and he couldn't believe it. There was more hooping and hollering than you. I mean, it was like being at, an old time bluegrass festival is what it was. It was just
that's really cool.
crazy. Yeah.
I think what Billy does, which is kind of unique, I think, is Billy still takes guitar lessons from somebody. I don't know who's taking them
Yeah.
from, but and
I've heard
it
that.
reminded me of Ozzy's old famous guitarist Randy Rhoads, who I'm a huge fan of,
Yeah.
passed away, brilliant guitarist. He was actually taking classical guitar when he was with Ozzy, and he put a lot of classical
Jeez.
stuff in his guitar runs, which is cool. I thought.
That was crazy. That was a sad day, man. I remember hearing my clock radio going off when I was a kid, hearing that Randy Rhoads had passed away in a bus accident, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Well, what happened is the I guess the bus driver, there was some kind of little tiny plane, and he wanted Randy to get on it with him, and Randy didn't even like to fly, so I guess he had to
Mm-hmm.
twist his arm to get him on this little tiny plane. So he wanted to buzz the bus and scare Ozzy. He was asleep, and he clipped a tree and they killed him. You know,
Gosh, freaking shame, dude. Let me tell you.
a crazy freak accident. But I mean, you never know when you're here 1 minute and gone the next. It's
Yeah,
just
I'm telling you. I think the most colorful guys I've ever met in the music business was um, the guys from Leonard Skinner before. No, it was after the plane crash, but before everybody started getting older and having health problems and stuff like that.
right.
That was probably that was the weirdest thing. It was almost like meeting musical royalty that you looked at, but you could tell there was so many good things between these guys. They
Yeah.
sincerely loved each other.
I would have loved to have met the Leonard Skinner guys. I've never met those guys. It's
Oh,
I'm glad they're still playing. Of course, the band now is none of the original guys, but
mm-hmm.
they still sound great though. They sound good.
Well, I got on an elevator one time accidentally with Ricky Metlock. Yeah, it was strange. I mean, it was kind of like something that you don't think's going to happen to you. Got in this elevator and there's this guy there, and he was turned this way, so I couldn't really see his face, and I didn't want to be rude because I didn't know who he was, but he was
Uh,
dressed for a show like he had. And I looked over, and then of course he had that long gray hair, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And he turned around and shook my hand. And of course, we didn't have cell phones back then, but that would have been a great picture. But
yeah, that's cool.
um, but he was just like one of the nicest, most polite people I've ever met in my life. An incredible guitarist.
Oh yeah,
Just
he's great.
it's amazing to me how somebody's talent can really define them sometimes. I mean, and I hate to keep going back to this, but look at your grandfather. His talent defined what people remember about him to this day.
Well, Daddy had some recordings. I don't know if they've ever been released, but Granddaddy he didn't play a lot of. Some players like to try to jam as many notes as possible into their leads or their runs, and he didn't like to do that. He liked to try to go with the kind of tune of the song and kind of follow it along. And nothing, it was nothing super complex, but that's the way he liked to play. But he could play some super complex stuff because I've got some recordings, or Daddy does, and it was just crazy. It was like Eddie Van Halen playing mandolin. It was just. Um, that kind of stuff needs to get out there. It probably needs to be remixed or whatever because I'm sure the sound quality is not great. But
Yeah, but
um,
still, can you imagine? I can only imagine what it would have been like being a fly on the wall, just watching these things transpire, in your life. What kind of effect did that have on you? Did it make you want to be like him, or do your own thing, or play as many instruments as you possibly could, or
probably all the above. I always wanted to, yeah, I wanted to be. Well, when I was young, I wanted to be a rock star.
Well,
I was
sure, yeah.
in a garage band, and we had our own rehearsal place, and we had a bunch of people show up, and that was a blast. I think it
Hmm.
damaged my hearing with some of the loud electric guitar stuff, but um, probably shaped through that kind of person that I am. I've always enjoyed music, I've got to luckily got to sing and play at quite a few places, but I wish I would have pursued it. Can't think of the right term, more aggressively than I did. But like I
Hmm.
say, I was enjoying being in the background, traveling and doing fun stuff. And like I say, it's just I couldn't compete with my granddad. He was just like a savant with with singing and playing mandolin. So um,
Yeah, he was.
yeah, but I do have regret about that. I should have been more aggressive about pursuing a career in music. That was probably a mistake on my part.
Yeah, but still, hey, life's not over yet, pal. You got all
No,
kinds
it
of time.
doesn't. I've got some stuff that's never been released that me and my grandfather wrote together that I'm going to get cut.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I talked to a friend of mine, Sweepy Walker. He works over there with Johnny Cash, not Johnny Cash, but John Carter Cash at the Cash Cabin Studio.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to cut something over there. They got a great studio, and John Carter is a great producer. He did all those last recordings of Johnny, which I thought were
Hmm.
brilliant. I think they were all recorded at the Cash Studio.
Yeah, man. Now that's another place, dude. I mean, uh, I hate to keep saying it, but being a fly on the wall in that place when some of that stuff was cut, I mean, my gosh.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've always been a big Johnny Cash fan. I think he's just a tremendous songwriter. And I love when he cuts Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails. He cuts Hurt.
Yeah.
And then Trent, I saw an interview. Trent was like, I was kind of mad and disappointed and whatever. Then I watched the video. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's his song now.
Yeah, exactly. He
um,
now has possession of this
yeah,
song.
it's that's not going to give you goosebumps when you watch the video. It's just perfect for him.
I'm
Really was.
telling you. I'm telling you. I mean, we're going to be doing a lot of interviews for this particular podcast, and one that I'm looking forward to is go back and talk to Rita Forrester at Carter Fold.
Oh yeah,
I hadn't been there in years. I mean, we did a few interviews there and were invited over a few times and all that good stuff. But it's been a few years,
right.
and Rita used to tell me stories. Sometimes she wouldn't let me record them, but she would just tell me stories. Some of those stories she didn't know, but I already knew about. But she would tell me these things, and I'd say, "Well, what happened next, Rita?" She'd say, "Rick Dollar, I'm taking this to the grave with me." And that just meant enough's enough.
Right.
But it's always good to be around people like that. I mean, the Carter family shaped a lot of music,
Oh,
from
absolutely.
country to rock to bluegrass to you name it. And just walking in that building up there sometimes it's just a whole different feeling. You know.
Well, I've always loved their music. I was thrilled to death when I finally learned how to play Wildwood Flower. I was like, because I always loved that song. Um, yeah, that they wrote some great stuff and great performers.
Hmm.
The entire family.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
just think about it. They were the original road dogs. I mean,
Absolutely.
AP he didn't want to stop for nothing. I mean,
You
probably just barely to eat.
I'm trying to think who came out first, the Carter family or I mean dyslexic the guy that wrote Mule Skinner Blues, um, the father of country music. I mean, what's his name? Anyway, yeah. Well, that's I was just trying to wonder who could come out first because he came out like in the 20s, I guess.
Yeah. I always heard, being from Bristol, the 27 sessions are huge there. That just kind of defined Bristol, you know. But I think the Carter family came along, but they didn't come along like the first thing.
Right.
They recorded there, and they did a lot of stuff, but they weren't the only ones. I mean, there is an incredible list of artists that came through there, and thank God for the Victrola company. or you would have never had any of that. I
Oh,
mean,
I know. I
that
know.
dude was very smart. That was a marketing idea that worked. It defined a time in history, and it defined localities, people, you name it. There, that was all just shoved together in a nice little package there.
The
But
Granddaddy was a big blues fan.
oh yeah.
Arnold Schultz and Rosine was an early influence on Granddaddy. He showed Granddaddy a lot of blues runs. He showed me a lot of blues runs. So there's a lot of blues and bluegrass. But
Mm-hmm.
interesting factoid: Robert Johnson, father of the blues, he was in the studio at the same time the Monroe brothers were in the studio. I looked up the dates, and there was almost it wasn't at the same studio, but they were almost there at the exact same time. Pretty cool.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
See, that's something that there's these little things like that that nobody's ever gonna know
yeah,
unless you dig them up, you know.
yeah. I love
So
Robert Johnson. Great
yeah.
stuff.
So what do you think about Robert Johnson? Do you think he went to the crossroads?
Probably, yeah. He's well, I feel because I watched a documentary about him, and they said that he was a horrible guitar player, couldn't sing or play,
That's what I
and
heard.
left for a few months, came back and was the best guitar player and singer they'd ever seen. You know,
Man,
and
that's kind of scary, ain't it?
it's pretty odd.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'll just say this: I don't think there's any such thing as a coincidence in this world.
It's
If it's too
um
much of a coincidence, you got to look at it and say, "Yeah, I don't know, man. That sounds kind of fishy to me." You know,
it does. Well, you
kind
know,
of
he,
like
he
when I used to
died.
lie to my dad when I was coming in. Yeah, I had a flat tire. Yeah, sure you did.
I guess Robert Johnson. I guess he was the inaugural member of the 27 Club, so he was 27 years old when he died.
I know, man. Can you and that's another weird thing, man. That
Oh, it
messes with
is.
me still.
Yeah,
There's been
I was a
so
bit.
many artists that died at 27.
It's crazy, really.
I
I was a
know.
big. I always liked Nirvana. Kurt Cobain. Of course, he killed himself when he was 27, but it's
Mhm.
still um, a tragedy. But it's just odd that all these people end up passing away at the same year, same.
Yeah, yeah, it's just nuts, man. Tell what are your future plans? I mean, I understand that your grandfather was this musical icon. You were around for a lot of that. So was your dad. And it shaped your life, your dad's life, and Bill's life too. I mean,
Right.
because I'm sure it was pretty cool to have your grandson with you, that you're already proud of, and now you want to expose them to all of this musical history, or what is now musical history. Um, Being able to go somewhere and say, have somebody come up and ask, "Hey, are you Bill Monroe's grandson?" Because I'm going to say something right now. You've got that look. Okay, you look like him.
Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
I can only imagine when he was younger, he probably looked a whole lot like you.
What's funny is if you compare like pictures of him and pictures of me when we're both the same age, it's crazy how much we look alike.
I
Um,
can tell. I mean, when we first started talking, I was like, holy crap, he looks just like Bill Monroe. So you got this show that you're doing in what is that, June?
yeah, it's coming up. Should have wrote this date down. It's Troubadour in Nashville. It's right before Fanfare. It's like June the 5th or 6th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of kids of big stars that actually play music too.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to do it. They're like, "Hey, come and do this show." I was like, "I'm not sure." And like, "Yeah, come on." So I said, "All right, whatever, I'll do
I'm not sure. Yeah, just do it, man. Okay.
it." Yeah.
So who else is going to be on the bill?
Well, there's a bunch of them. Billy Walker's grandson, Sweepy Walker,
Mm-hmm.
is going to play, and he's a good friend of mine for years. He was in a band, the Eric Hamilton band. Another friend of mine, Eric Hamilton. They had a rock band. They were signed to sort of say Big Machine Records, but I'm not sure that's right. But
Mm-hmm.
they were touring a bunch several years ago, and they all still play music. But he's going to sing one or two songs. Hawkshaw Hawkins, his son, is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sing a few songs. I don't know. There's a bunch of artists. It's
Yeah. Where can they go?
Ricky
Where can people go look at that and maybe get tickets or
um,
something?
Ricky Nelson's got some kids that's going to play,
Yeah, I
uh,
saw that.
which is cool. The tickets, I'm sure get them on Ticketmaster or any kind of the ticket places. It's
Okay.
I think they're super reasonable too, and it's the Troubadour's a nice place. It'll be, come
Yeah,
out,
it is. It's
come out, watch
beautiful.
the show. We're going to sign some posters, get you some food to eat. Um, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that's going to be a lot of fun, man.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the eating part too. That'll be pretty cool. So,
Yeah. As you can tell, I do too. So, yeah, I do plenty of that, no doubt about it. Man, I tell you what, it's been pretty cool. It's been good to meet you. It's been good to hear some good stories about your grandfather and your life and how Bill Monroe shaped a lot of music, but he shaped a lot of people. You can see his influence
right.
in what you're doing now. But are you the caretaking kind of guy? Or, I mean, are you kind of watching after everything that he's got going on? Or
I try to. Yeah, it's I worked with my dad. We had an estate sale a couple years ago and sold some intellectual property to Gaylord. So I'm not sure who
Mhm.
even owns Gaylord now.
Yeah,
I think they sold to somebody else.
yeah,
But
I think
it's
it is.
um yeah, all the music and publishing, and Daddy's got his own stuff that he's put out. And like I say, I've got several songs that me and Granddaddy wrote together that I've got to
Hmm.
get. It's not in the can. It's just stuff that I've got memorized and wrote. I've got some the lyrics and stuff wrote down. But
That's good.
yeah, and I've got a couple things at the Opry that were recorded. I'm gonna try to have that remixed and put on this record too.
That'd be a
That's
good
gonna be.
idea.
I basically do this record for my own amusement, but I'm gonna get it out though. So um, I talked to Marty and Ricky and Vince Gill about all. They all agreed to play on it, but rounding them up is gonna be another story. And I'll see, see if I can get them.
Yeah. I
You
don't think it's going to get done all at one time, but you know how that
know,
goes these days, in
I,
in the
I
recording
need to
world.
yeah, I need to call Vince and aggravate him. Honestly, I was super thrilled that he got to join the Eagles. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah.
Vince is such a funny guy. He's such a good guy. I mean, we used to sit backstage at the Opry and Granddaddy's dressing room to sit and talk all the time. And he's super great. And so
Yeah.
is Ricky and Marty. I mean, they're both really down to earth, good people. They really
Oh
are.
yeah. You're right. We got Vince coming to Savannah June the 7th, and
Yeah,
buddy of mine, John Metter, that played with Authentic Unlimited, great guitar player, great tenor voice. He just recently, Vince hired him to play, and it's kind of weird to see John up there with Vince Gill. But I mean, he's super talented and he deserves to be standing right there.
right.
But it's kind of cool, to know that I've known Vince for this many years, and all of a sudden here's my new friend John is playing guitar for him. It's just
That's
weird.
cool. I'll
Yeah.
tell you a funny story. Me and Daddy were at the Country Music Hall of Fame for some activity. I'm not sure what it was. Vince was there and Ricky. Anyway, I was standing beside Vince. He pulls me closer. He goes, "Stand closer to me and make you look skinnier."
That's crazy.
I know, it's funny.
Well, man, I appreciate you sitting down with us today, man. It's been a lot of fun. Keep us updated on what's going on with everything, and we'll put the word out. Okay.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Don't be
Oh
a stranger.
yeah, bro. Have a
Give me a
good
holler.
day, man. Hey,
All
this
right,
is
buddy.
Rick Dollar, and this has been this episode of My Appalachian Home. Thanks for riding shotgun with us this week on My Appalachian Home. Remember, life is what you make of it. We'll see you soon.